Bitcoin is gearing up for a very, very big move right now. In this video, I will show you some different charts, some different technicals, some different reasons why Bitcoin is gearing up for a big move in the not so distant future. Hopefully, that move is going to be to the upside. But as the Rolling Stones say, you can't always get what you want. Rolling Stones, what are you gonna do? They're better songs painted black anyway. We're digressing here. Let's go ahead and get into this. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing, so if that's a topic that you want to learn some more about, make sure that you are a subscriber to the Lark Davis channel. It only takes a quick second to click on that subscribe button and also gently tap on the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. I don't know why YouTube loves it so much, but they do. They do. So if you appreciate this video, make sure to whack on that thumbs up button. And of course, click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. So let's go ahead and dive into the charts here. Now let's start off with this. As you can see, our bullish divergence is still in play on the RSI. So we got our oversold reading back here. We have now had a higher low for the RSI that coincides with a lower low for the price. This is a classic situation of a bullish divergence on the RSI that would indicate that more upside is coming for the price in the not so distant future. Now we're dealing with the daily time frame here. As you can see, this is spread out across weeks. That doesn't mean overnight. In fact, even though we're going to cover some bullish indicators in this video, the price is dropping right now because Bitcoin, man, and sometimes Bitcoin just Bitcoins. When Bitcoin starts Bitcoining, it just, it's gonna Bitcoin. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, guys? That's the nature of the game. Now I want to point out this too. This is very, very interesting. Check out this green line here. We'll get rid of these other two just to clean things up a bit here for you. But this is the RSI, and you can see we have basically been on this non-stop downtrend for the RSI ever since the 8th of January. This is a massive macro trend for the RSI that has basically just been downtrending and downtrending and downtrending. However, we did get an oversold reading. Now we're bouncing up from that oversold reading. That tends to be a situation where we get a reversal. However, I would like to point out that until we cross over this green line on the RSI, move that down just a little bit there, we are still stuck in this downtrend. So Bitcoin is still in a downtrend until we can recapture this key line right here. So we need to see the RSI bouncing up and getting basically to around 50 and having a close around 50. You can see again, it's amazing. We ran into resistance right here. Look at that, just incredible. Ran into resistance right here, and now we're trending back downwards. We need to crack above that line. And even actually probably over the next few days, if we got up to RSI of around 48, that would break us out of this downtrend. But that requires the price going up in order to break us out of this downtrend. By the way, just want to quickly mention the moving averages here as well, because this is important. We've been keeping an eye on the moving averages. This is the exponential moving averages. These are a little more responsive to short-term price movements versus the simple moving averages, which tend to be more of, in my mind, that line in the sand. But anyway, you can see here the 200-day exponential moving average, the orange line on the chart here. We really need to retake that. We are in a bearish trend until we recapture the 200-day moving averages, whether we talk about the 200-day exponential moving average, that would be a very positive thing, or particularly the 200-day simple moving average, which is slightly above this right now. The 50-day exponential moving average, blue line on the chart here, I'd be happy to recapture that. That would be fantastic moving forward. But we're not even there. We're not even there. We're trending below all the major, bigger time frame moving averages right now for Bitcoin, which definitively says the bears are in charge of the market right now. When you leave the bears driving the car, you guys know trouble's going to happen. So until we reclaim these with some definitive volume and some good strong candles, we are in a situation that is a bit unpredictable. We could see any kind of malarkey happening in the markets. Next, let's talk about the Bollinger Bands and also the Bollinger Band width. Now the Bollinger Bands, they tend to be used as a bit of a way to measure volatility in the market. When we see the bands closing in, we are in times of lower market volatility, which tends to indicate that we're heading up towards a period of increased market volatility. Now, as you can see here on the Bollinger Band width chart down here at the bottom of the screen, we actually have a situation where we're coming right back down now to test a very, very key level. Now, we've seen the price having a lot of volatility. The last 2 times it came down to hit this particular area. Now, what I want to point out about the Bollinger Bands is that they're relatively neutral in terms of determining if we're going to see upward or downward price momentum. What it's good at indicating, though, is that when we start flatlining like this, like when we start seeing these low readings on the Bollinger Band width charts, or you can just see the relative closing in like we did here, or like we did here when the bands start getting really close together, and we're seeing again right now here, that you can expect a lot of volatility to start coming in to the markets. That can be upward volatility, that can be downward volatility. That's what the Bollinger Bands tell us. They don't give us that definitive indication things are going to go up or things are going to go down. So we have to revert then to some other indicators to tell us where this big move might be coming. But as you can see, it does tend to usually indicate a bit of a big move. Here we can see the last time the Bollinger Band width got that low, what happened? The price of Bitcoin rallied by 136%. Well, that was actually 2 times ago, to be fair. The last time it did that, it actually dropped by 28%. So it gives you a good idea of this volatility doesn't always go in the direction that you would like it to go in, but if history is anything to go by, if this chart indicator and its patterns is anything to go by, then expect volatility in the very, very near future. It could be tomorrow, could be over the weekend, could be early next week. We could see it trend sideways for a few more days, but we're going to get some volatility. This Bollinger Band width, it's going to be moving very, very soon. So hopefully the price moves in the direction we want it to, not in the direction we don't want it to. Next, let's talk about the MACD. Now the MACD is currently showing that we are in a bullish period, but you can see it's flattening right out at the moment. We could easily see that blue line passing back down below the orange line. So basically, when you see the blue line above the orange line, that indicates that a bullish trend is going. When you see the blue line under the orange line, it shows that a bearish pattern is in. Of course, also indicated here by the histogram, which gives us these nice little green and red bars to show us that we are either in a bullish or a bearish situation. But these crossovers on the MACD tend to be relatively reliable indicators that show that we're entering back into a bullish or a bearish pattern. Now, what we really want to see is for the MACD to cross back above the 0 line. You can see right now it's trending underneath 0, so it's in the negative at the moment. We saw, of course, it get down to quite a serious level of being oversold here. We want to see it trend back up, get back above the midpoint here, back above the 0 line, and start trending upwards. You can see historically that when we do see a retaking of the midline, we tend to get a pretty good rally for Bitcoin afterwards. So hopefully we see that happening here. We have had this big sell-off now, quite a serious oversold reading here. In fact, one of the biggest oversold readings in a long, long time here for Bitcoin. So hopefully we see that retaking the midline. We haven't done that yet. We're still technically in a bullish situation for the MACD, but a little bit more of a price fall could actually push us back into the negative territory there. So I want to see this stop flattening out and actually start trending up a bit and retake the midpoint here. I think will be a nice spot for the MACD to move into. And of course, we have to keep in mind our good old Wyckoff pattern. The Wyckoff pattern, man. So this is a post from Rect Capital. He does the technical analysis in the newsletter. He said Bitcoin rebounded from the confluent area of support, that is the $33,000 level, the orange higher low. According to the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, Bitcoin is still in the very final stages of phase C. It needs to break past $36,000 to enter phase D. So you can see here, Bitcoin still on this path. Now we would need to go quite a bit lower, right? We want to see this support holding in this area here, and that's looking very tentative at the moment. So we could actually see the Wyckoff accumulation pattern that we've all been watching break over the next couple of days. We need to see it holding the support in these areas for this pattern to remain valid. But if it does, and if that was our spring for the Wyckoff pattern right down here, right? If that was the spring, then our volatility, as the Bollinger Bands is telling us, could be volatility to the upside, which is obviously what we all want to happen. Well, I actually wouldn't mind a bit of volatility to the downside. I'd buy some more Bitcoin if it went back under $30,000. But to be honest, I think it's time for the markets to have a bit of recovery. I think just from a psychological level, there's a lot of salt out there, a lot of negativity in the markets. I like you guys all a lot more when you're happy, when the prices are going up. It can get pretty grim, sentiment-wise, when things keep crashing and going down and everyone's losing a lot of money. It's not a lot of fun, So I hope for everyone's sake that we do get positive volatility, but I want you to be aware that we may not get what we want. Rolling Stones, man. Rolling Stones. Come on. We may get those downward prices, and some people will get what they want, but I think the majority of the market right now would really, really like some price recovery. We have seen, of course, a lot of the short-term money shaken out. We've covered a lot of those charts here on the channel that most of the short-term sellers have exited the market, most of them realizing losses. Mostly now we have the long-term players playing the accumulation game for Bitcoin at the moment. We can also see this chart here. This is Bitcoin network user growth. So even though the price is going down, we actually have Bitcoin network user growth at the second biggest spike in its history. You can see that right here. The biggest one was back, of course, in late 2017. And so right now, we're in this downtrend in the market. That was at the top, by the way. We're in this downtrending situation in the market right now. And the Bitcoin network user growth, second highest in history. Price going down, network going up. That's bullish. Even if we see more price drama in the coming weeks, that's a bullish sign without a doubt. And look, as we discussed at great length the other day on the channel, we do have those grayscale Bitcoin share unlocks coming up, which theoretically shouldn't affect the spot price of the market. But I think that there's enough misinformation going out there that we could see this, much as it has been for the past few times, being a sell-off event. So we could see that downside volatility. That's starting in 5 days, the first sale from the grayscale Bitcoin shares. So that volatility, I just want you to know, we've got these bullish indicators which are showing us that, yeah, the network's doing really well. We've got this bullish divergence, right? We've got these bullish indicators that are showing that the market's doing pretty okay right now, but that Wyckoff pattern could be very quickly invalidated by these upcoming grayscale Bitcoin unlocks. So that's why I'm not, in any leverage trades or anything right now. I'm not trying to play around in this chop. I'm accumulating Bitcoin, I'm stacking sats, doing my kind of usual thing. If I see the market dump massively because of irrational fear over this whole grayscale thing, I will come in and I will buy that dip. I would like the market to go up, and if it doesn't, I'm ready to buy that dip. I just want to give you guys, both sides of the coin here, so to speak, and just to be aware that you could see that downside come in, particularly around the grayscale unlock. I think that's the only negative FUD thing that we really have moving forward over the next 2 weeks, really, because after 2 weeks, that's basically finished. And there's a few unlocks coming in late July and early August, but it's nothing like the unlocks that are going to happen over the next 10 days, approximately, starting in 5 days, and the first 5 to 6 days of the unlocks are going to be the biggest. So that's just something for you to keep aware of. Again, there's no reason why that should cause a sell-off, except that FUD stories come out, people short the market, et cetera, but you just need to be aware of this, right? And I know that most of you guys are not gamblers. not day traders in the audience. If you are, hey, cool, you rock it out, man. You do you. But most of you guys are long-term investors, so if we do get this downside for our volatility, the Bollinger Band's showing us the volatility is coming. If we do get downside volatility, I'm taking that as an opportunity to add more to my stack, right? If we get upside volatility, then I just get to be happy, and you guys get to be happy, and everyone gets to be happy, and it's good times. It's good times. We like good times around here. By the way, if you want to buy yourself some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Polygon, whatever you want to get, you need yourself an account over on BINANCE. Best cryptocurrency exchange out there. And if you use the link down below in the description to start your BINANCE account, you're going to get 10% off on your trading fees and up to $700 in trading bonuses when trading futures over on Binance. Now, before we finish up for today, I just wanted to share a little bit more news with you. So institutions are finally turning bullish on Bitcoin again. So for the first time in 5 weeks, so during this entire sell-off period, institutions are buying cryptocurrencies again. So they're buying Bitcoin, they're buying Ethereum. We're seeing positive inflows from institutional fund managers buying up crypto again. So that's a good thing to see. I'm happy to see the institutional crowd starting to pile in. Now the whales have been buying, long-term holders have been buying. It's nice to see the institutions getting back into the game. Obviously, they think that we are also nearing the end of this boring period, and their bet is that the end of the boring period is going to be an up period for the market, and that we're just mid-cycle, and that we're not in a 3-year bear market. Also, I liked this story. I wanted to share it with you. Argentinian lawmaker has introduced a bill for workers to be paid in crypto. It's introduced, it hasn't been passed, but I like the effort anyway. Hopefully it does get passed. It'd be really, really cool. I like this idea. If you can get paid your salary in Bitcoin, and I think in a country like Argentina, people really would love this kind of option because the Argentine peso has been problematic for a lot of reasons. It's been going down, 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 basically, for the entire time I've been running this channel, and really since I've been keeping an eye on the Argentine peso ever since I went to Argentina like 10 years ago and studied Spanish there and stuff, and the Argentine peso has just been getting hammered again and again and again and again and again. And so the hammering of the Argentine peso has come along with all kinds of capital controls, how many dollars you can buy, how much money you can send abroad, etc., etc. Bitcoin would definitely be a good tool for Argentinians. Now, look, there's a lot of big cryptocurrency enthusiasts in Argentina, so shout out to the Argentinians in the audience. I know that a lot of people there have been using stable coins, and they've been using Bitcoin as a way to get money in and out of the country and as a way to buy things within the country and create those local economies of crypto. But this, I think, would just take it to the next level where you can actually start paying your workers in cryptocurrencies. Now, it obviously requires your boss to want to pay you in crypto, but to legally be allowed to receive that would be really, really cool. And so, your question, I think, for today, and I'll reiterate this in a moment, would be if you could get paid your salary in cryptocurrencies, would you take your salary in cryptocurrencies? And if you could, how much of your salary would you take in crypto? Would you say, okay, I'll take 25% of my salary every week in Bitcoin, pay it into my Bitcoin wallet? Or maybe you're like, okay, I want 100% of my salary in Dogecoin every week. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Love life. Love life. Life is good. Anyway, I'd be curious to know your answer to that question down below. And just another story to share about the failures of fiat. And look, the Argentinian peso has done very, very well in comparison to a lot of international currencies, which have done much, much worse. That's not to say that the peso has done amazingly. It hasn't. It's done very, very bad. But it's done less bad than some others. So we've talked about Lebanon quite a few times on the channel. It's just getting worse. Lebanon's economic crisis among the world's worst. Lebanon's running out of foreign reserves. The prices of food and medicine. You can't even get medicine in some places. Food and medicine prices going through the roof. Can't get money in and out of the country, or there's all kinds of capital controls which make it really, really difficult. And look, I'm not an expert. I'm not there. I'm not in Lebanon. So if you're in Lebanon, you're saying something I just said is not correct, feel free to correct me down below in the comment section. The main point is that Lebanon is going through an extreme economic crisis, and their local fiat currency is completely freaking collapsing. We are seeing a catastrophic, life-ruining failure of a fiat currency that is destroying the lives of millions of people. Literally millions of people are having their life savings destroyed, are unable to access the basics of life, like food and medicine, because they can't afford it because their freaking fiat currency is just going into the ground. It's a devastating situation. And, you know, my heart goes out to the people of Lebanon who have to live through this catastrophic situation of your money failing and of your inept politicians to let this crap happen. But it has happened. And obviously, I hate to say it, but anybody who had the foresight to get out of their local currency and buy Bitcoin or buy stable coins is probably doing okay. And I wish that we had more access to cryptocurrencies for people in countries like Lebanon, because even before the crisis, Lebanon was not the easiest country to get into cryptocurrencies. Right, so the government made it hard for exchanges to operate there and so on and so forth. So it wasn't super easy for Lebanese people to get their hands on crypto. And obviously now that the problem's here, it's much harder because you're going to take your Lebanese, I think they do pounds there. They're going to take your Lebanese money and change into Bitcoin. You can't even buy Bitcoin with. And if you were able to do that, well, it's just worth so much less than it was a week or a month or a year ago. Of course, Bitcoin's gone up during that time. Don't wait until your country is in this situation. And I know that you might think, oh, but I'm in a safe, stable country where we have a nice, strong currency. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. Look at the Argentinians. Start of the century. We're not talking that long ago. 15, 20 years ago. The Argentinians were doing very well. They had a very strong currency. And then very quickly, it wasn't. And that can happen. The history of fiat money is a history of failure, often catastrophic failure. Now, the strongest states can let their fiat currencies basically suffer catastrophic failure and have it still be okay. I mean, look at the UK. The British pound has lost 99% of its value since it first came into circulation 200 years ago or whatever. You can correct me on the dates down in the comment section if you want, but all fiat currencies trend to zero over time. Now, the strongest states can mitigate the impacts of this failure of fiat currency, of this death of 1,000 cuts of your savings in this paper trending to be worth nothing over time. But the weaker states, they can't avoid the catastrophic fiat failure effects, and even the strong states can't avoid it. I mean, look at Germany in the 30s, right? The Weimar Republic, and what happened to their currency. Germany was a strong country back then. Their currency still failed. It's happened to many countries. It's going to happen to many more countries as long as we keep letting corrupt politicians dictate how paper money is distributed and inflated and the rates of that money. We're going to keep running into failure. There's a lot of reasons to buy Bitcoin, and yeah, we all want the number to go up and to get super, super rich overnight, all that fun stuff. I get it. But one thing that keeps me engaged, one thing that keeps me interested is actually the big picture. The big picture, right? You look at the actual economic, complete insanity going on in the world. I'm glad to be a Bitcoin holder when I see stories like this, and I hope that some people in Lebanon are also able to get their hands on some Bitcoin and avoid at least the worst outcomes of this political crisis and fiat crisis that has struck the country. Anyway, rant over. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Prepare for volatility. That's the main takeaway. I'm not certain if it's going up. I'm not certain if it's going down. That's technical analysis for you. 101 right there. I hope that it's going up, but we do have the grayscale unlock, which is going to cause some people to panic, some institutions to short the market. We do have a lot of bullish indicators, though, so I'm ready either way. I'm going to buy the dip or celebrate the pump, whichever way we go. So anyway, your question for today. Again, if you could get paid your salary in Bitcoin, would you? And if so, how much of your salary would you take? Or in any crypto. In any crypto, doesn't have to be Bitcoin, of course. Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.